Good morning. Good morning. We are going live, answering your start sit questions and just helping you out. The big thing that I want to point out today that just rolled before we get started, before we get hyped up, is what we're seeing here with Xavier Worthy, the dislocated shoulder. Worthy won't need it, surgery, so just caught that. So hopefully back in a few weeks, hopefully he can go with a harness on, and maybe we're good to go for a bit. The risk is if it keeps popping out. That is something you do not know in game. And from my experiences, that's something that could happen, not help. What's going on? See the chat starting to roll in. That's what we're here for. Let's pull up the Fantasy Pros rankings. Chat, I need help. Defense, Miami, Washington, 49ers. Which one week one? Let's look at that. Because defenses, let's see here. Miami. I think that Miami game might be a shootout. I think Washington might be in a shootout. And then you got Seattle. I think I'd go Seattle in that. What do they got? They got 49ers. Where's Seattle at? They got Seattle down there at 15. They got Miami. I think I'd be rolling. I think they Miami down there. And then I think I'd go. They got Washington. They got Washington up there. I think that game could be a shootout. My gut went with, looking at this one here, Seattle. I think that game could go off a little bit. But I think Jaden Daniels plus with the Giants, with Malik Neighbors, Russell Wilson, I think that game could be more of a shootout than realized, especially when you're looking at the odds here, the spread. Giants game 45.5 over under. Vegas saying they don't know, really, because that's right smack dab in the middle there. And we got a spread of 6. And I could definitely see this game just getting a lot of scoring in it. I could definitely see Russ throwing some picks. That could potentially happen. That offensive line for the Giants has been suspect. That's where that could go wrong. I feel like the safe play is probably Seattle, and the next play for more upside would be the Commanders, if I look at it that way, thinking through that process. Next up, JCM or Ollie Gordon, 14-man PPR. We haven't caught more news on Jacory Croskey-Merritt, whether or not he's going to get more role or not. I think both of them are a little bit of a gamble. So my thought processes here would be going with Ollie Gordon and hope he gets into the end zone. I like that matchup too. Chris Rodriguez seems to be inactive. So it's not 100% yet. So Jacory Croskey-Merritt, we got a little bit more news on that. We'll probably get that 1B roll. That's what that's saying to me. It'll probably get that 1B roll. Let's see what we got down here for more on that. Chris Rodriguez is not suiting up, it looks like. Jacory Croskey-Merritt. That's the news I was looking for. I was looking for that. I said that in all the videos leading up to today. I was looking for that news. I'm probably going to go Jacory Croskey-Merritt sub to RB2. I'm going Jacory Croskey-Merritt. JCM season, chat. We're going JCM season. That's where I'm rolling. I'm rolling that. That's what I've been saying with the process all week. Once I got that news, that's when I'm rolling him in. That's when he's officially a start for me. He's officially a start. I'm rolling with him. Do I start Ford or Hunter at flex? Jerome Ford for if I'm playing it safe, and if I want to hit a solid 10 to 12. Hunter, if you're shooting for more upside, just in case he splashes in his first game as a rookie. I think the play is really Ford. I think the play's really forward. I think he's going to get you enough touches to at least get you the baseline. But if you need more, then you're rolling. Yes, Chris Rodriguez, healthy scratch. We're rolling JCM. We're rolling JCM. How do you accommodate this league for 10 half PPR? 2 wide receivers, running back, 1 tight end, 1 flex. Evans, Pearsall, Neighbors, Emeka Ebuka. Or is this the whole lineup? So 2 wide receivers, Evans. Wait, Neighbors is in there. Okay, let me read this because things are going back and forth with me. Neighbors for sure. Next wide receiver would probably be Evans. Then I would rank it Emeka Ebuka, then Pearsall. And then Bucky, H.N., Gibbs, Mason. Oh my, there's a lot of good backs here. Gibbs, H.N., Flex. Bucky would be the safe play. Upside would be T-Mac. Tight end, Kittle. That's what I would do. That's what I would do with that. Going on here. Thoughts on running back CMC, Genty, and H.N. this season. What I believe is CMC is probably going to be a rocky road this year. With what we already got, there's probably going to be multiple reports up and down the year where we're just going to be nervous about him. But I think when he's on the field, he's going to be solid. He's going to be running a lot of routes, getting a lot of work, getting work in the passing game. When he's out there, he'll be, at bare minimum, functional. Bare minimum. But he's going to be solid. It's just whether or not he can hold up that full season and how much that's going to impact the season. I think Genty's going to get a lot of work this year. I think he's going to get a lot of touches. I think there will be a little bit of a ramp up from weeks 1 to like 4, 5, 3, whatever. And then eventually he's just going to blast off. And he may look good the first couple weeks of the season, but like there's a trend of a lot of rookies, and there's usually some sort of little ramp up period in the start of the season. I believe he's going to ramp up. When I'm looking at HN, I expect him to do well this year. They're healthy. Like Tua's healthy. You got Reek healthy. Things are at least going to start off good. If injuries start to hit, that's a different story. I think Garrett Wilson, when you look back at the numbers, he's going to be good. But in season, it's going to be hard to start him sometimes. Like you look at this matchup this week with the Jets, that's a rough matchup. They're going to throw the ball a lot. Ridley, I think, is going to be solid in good matchups. Ridley's going to be very solid in good matchups this year. He's going to have a good target share. He's going to have a good average depth of target. I think T. Higgins, target share-wise, average depth of target-wise, he's going to be solid. He's going to have a lot of good games. But he also might be very volatile, like kind of similar to George Pickens, where you're going to get some big games. You might have a lot of downers as well mixed in and a little bit of wide receiver twos because he's sharing the field with Jamar Chase. I think Bowers is going to be fine. I like McBride. I think the next one's Sam Laporta. I don't know if you want him ranked, but I think all three of them. The tight end position's very fluky week to week. So really, like if I'm paying up for a tight end, I'm just rolling with them. And if I'm looking for the most stable one out of that group, it could be McBride right now. But also Laporta's fighting target share with two very good wide receivers and a running back. And then Bowers, just a lot of upside. Thank you so much, though. Thank you for the question and everything else. Next up, Kraft or Tyler Warren? Gut just went Kraft. Let's see what the rankings say here. I use other people's rankings and I go off of what I feel, but my first gut was Kraft because it just felt safer. And the matchup's going to have some scoring in it. He's top 10. Where they got Warren at, right below him. Like this matchup, both these are good matchups. We know what we can get out of Kraft here. Tight end is a very fluky position. Daniel Jones historically has targeted the tight end position when he was rocking with the Giants, not like after he's coming back being hurt. 20% of the time of his targets. There's a chance that Warren gets peppered with targets in this game with Miami. It's got a decent over-under with it when you're looking at that. Because when you're looking at what Vegas is trying to say, 47.5 over-under. So that's one of the higher over-unders of the week here when you're looking at that scoring total. So there's a chance Warren hits. I just like this matchup here for the Packers. 47.5 over under 2. I just think there's going to be good scoring with this matchup. I'm interested in that. I know what Kraft's going to get me. He's established in the offense. There's no really ramp up there. So safety reasons, I roll Kraft. I think it's a good coin flip as well. Let's see. Sleeper app just updated. Yep, Rodriguez is out. He is out. There we go. There we went over the tweets. Like, people excited about that. And Mrs. Rodriguez, I think that's his mom right now. To everyone who was looking forward to seeing Chris suit up, I appreciate love and support, y'all. Show him he is great spirits. He's locked in. Next one is flex spot, Romo Dunze Hunter. Gut says Odunze. Gut says Odunze. It's a tight one. I think the consensus would go Hunter. I think Hunter's fine if you feel that way. There's Hunter at 35 on Fantasy Pros. Odunze is at 39. The reason why my gut went Romo Dunze, we're in year 2. I think this matchup here versus the Vikings could be actually very underrated. He got an average depth of target in the double digits last year. He'll probably push for a 20+% target share. He's been looking good in preseason. I think Travis Hunter will have a good start to his rookie campaign this year. I think this is a great matchup for him. Also, that Carolina matchup last year, when you look at all the fantasy points allowed that people were looking at. See here. Get that out of there. Get that ad out of here. When you look at that, top 10, and they give up a lot of fantasy points, and then especially when you adjust it for PPR, they give up points in bunches. 34.6 a game. You're looking at that. It's a good matchup for Hunter. Like, if he's going to start off his career good, this is a team that will break on you. As you saw, a 40 spot there to Drake London, 27 to DJ Moore. This is a team that'll break. This is a team that'll break. I think Odunze in year 2, that would be my go-to. I think they're both, like, overall starts for me this week, too. That's the thing about this. They're both overall starts. Demario Douglas or Dante Thorman, I'm really excited about the rookie. I'm going Thornton. I think there's just more upside. Demario Douglas, I mean, he's a short target merchant. So, like, that can get you fantasy points. You also got Stephon Diggs, who's going to be getting short targets as well. I think that's going to impact that. Demario Douglas would have a lot of games where he's getting a 20% target share, but a lot of those games he would need to cross the goal line. I think Thornton, I'd shoot for that upside. I'd just shoot for that upside. I'd play to try to win it. I think Thornton's a little bit of a gamble, too, due to Diggs there. And the changes, like with Hendo there, getting opportunity in the passing game. You look at this matchup here. Let's see here. Oh, it's right there. Right in front of my face. Right there. 44.5 over under. A lower game script per Vegas. Implied point total. So around that range. Somewhere is what Vegas is trying to say, because they want to be in the middle. So people bet high or low on it. And it's lower compared to most of the games. You look at the spread, it's tight. I would go Thornton. I would go Thornton, shoot for the upside. I'd rather fail on a guy that gets the deep shots downfield and only brings in 1 or 2 targets versus the guy that gets the shorter targets. And if they both whiff, or if he whiffs, it ain't going to be too far off from a guy that only scores like 10, 11, 12. For IDP, who would you start? Chop Robinson, Jalen Phillips. IDP-wise, my hub. Hopefully my video don't mess up. IDP-wise, off the top of my head with my gut, I'm in a ton of IDP leagues, so I'm just going off because the scoring is always different league to league with that, like vastly. So I'm going Chop. Next one. Chris Olave or Garrett Wilson? Half PPR. I think you need both games or one of those games to break. And you also need Spencer Rattler to play well. I want to see what Fantasy Pro says. My gut's saying Olave, actually, because I hate that game. Olave at 32. They're going to have Wilson higher. If they even, there it is, at 22. The thing about Garrett Wilson, he's guaranteed to get a 20+% target share. That could still be only 4 targets in this game. I expect this game to be very low scoring. Vegas is saying the same thing. Where's that at? Vegas has that right there. 37.5 over under. It's actually dropped a point over the last 24 hours. Tight game script. Jets are going to run the ball a lot. Steelers going to be bottom third in pace of play. Aaron Rodgers, bottom third pace of play. Majority of his career, no matter who he had, there was only 4 seasons out of his career where he was top 15 in pace of play. This game is going to run fast. They're going to run the ball a lot. Garrett Wilson will, at least, or should be the target leader for the Jets. He's got to cash in. He's got to get that touchdown. Now you're looking at the Saints game. You got a spread of 6 here. So the Saints could be playing from behind. You got a 44.5 over under. So there could be more points scored in this game. That lends me to thinking Chris Olave could have more opportunity and a better chance to get something in this matchup. I think if you want to play it safe, Garrett Wilson due to the target share. If you need a bit more upside, because I don't see much upside with Garrett Wilson, I would go Chris Olave for sure. Like, if they scored on Thursday, Friday's games, then I'm definitely doing that. Looks like my thing froze over here. Let's see where I'm at. All right, next one. Golfer Mac Jones in the rain. I'm going Jared Goff. Next one, Matthew Golden or Debo. This one's up in the air. I'm very high on Matthew Golden. And I guarantee that, I actually don't guarantee because they may actually be high on them. Matthew Golden, 42. Debo, 38. I like the matchup for both these players. I think Matthew Golden is one of my surprise players for this week that could exceed expectations. I think it's a tremendous coin flip. I think Washington's going to cook. I think Debo is actually going to be a little bit better than advertised and what the fantasy community is saying. In some of these matchups, especially starting the year, he'll get some of those short targets. I think Debo's the safer play. I think if you need to play it safe, if you need to get that 10 to 12 spot, I think Debo's going to be your guy. He does also have some touchdown upside. I think if you need to shoot for the moon, I'd go Matthew Golden. That's what I would do. Tyreek Hill or Travis Hunter. I'd roll Tyreek Hill. I like the matchup. I'm in on that Dolphins-Colts game. That's going to break a lot of ties with me. I think Travis Hunter overall is a start for me, though. So if you want to go against that, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. But for me, I'd lean, if I'm setting lineups, Tyreek Hill. But I do like Travis Hunter this week. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you, Leak, for watching. Thank you guys for all the kind words. All in on Bill. Yeah, this is a good sign for Bill. They tried to be cryptic all week. They tried to be cryptic, and they even had him bottom of the depth chart. And that's what coaches do sometimes. That's just what happens. And I just played the middle and been patient and said, hey, just adjust if we caught the news. When we got that tweet, we got that tweet. Sam Darnold or Geno? That's a tight one. That's a tight one. Because I'm just thinking about all the things that could go on in those games. I don't even want to look at the rankings. Let's look at the Geno Raiders. Patriots 44.5 over under. You got a tight spread. How could that game break to a lot of scoring? You need Drake May to cook. You need Drake May to cook to push it. You need the Raiders. You need the Patriots defense stuff to run. You need that to happen. You need Brock Bowers to hit some yards after the catch. So now we're looking at Seattle. Hawks, 43.5 over under. I look for both these teams to be running the ball. Especially if CMC is out there. They could mix it up with the running backs. It doesn't matter. Game script is game script. And now you're looking at Seattle. They want to use the running backs a lot. They want to use them in the passing game. They want to use both Walker and Charbonnet. They're going to be getting a lot of touches. I feel Darnold's a little bit safer. A little bit safer in this matchup. I think this could be a game script that breaks, that hits the over, actually, if I think about it that way. Let's see what Fantasy Pro says, because it's just so tight. It's a coin flip. So, Darnold, I'm guarantee they're right beside. There they are, I guarantee you. Like I said, it's a coin flip. Which matchup I like the better? I think the Seattle 49ers matchup, the game script, because I'm betting on game scripts, is safer for me to predict. And it's going to be slower, but I think it's going to be where it's more efficient. I think you got more upside that it could break. Patriots, Raiders. If Drake May could cook and they can slow down Genty. So overall, if I want to just play it safe, I would just want to hit on the fairway, I'd go Darnold. If I want to go the other route, that's what I do. Flex spot, Tank Bigsby, JCM. I would go Tank Big. No, I'd go JCM, actually. Earlier this morning, I had that question with a lot of people, and pretty much my answer was, unless we caught this tweet right here or anything of that nature, we're going Tank. But once we caught that, we're flipping it to JCM. And I see Tanks with that glorious, that is a glorious matchup against the Panthers. It's hard, but I also recognize they've had some changes. I think it's going to curtail a little bit through the season. Their game scripts are going to be a little bit different. But yeah, 30 points a game PPR to running backs last year, and they'll just break the running backs. They'll just break 22, 20, 23 last year, 25, 27. But there's also games here, if you look, that they'll slow down a little bit. But they'll either break, they'll break big, like 31, 23, 26. And you got this Giants game. Now, if you think about it that way, and you're betting on the Panthers breaking, and you're shooting for the upside, and you need the upside, you'd go Tank. I think JCM's going to be a little safer, because also Travis Etienne, you also got that. Which running back's really going to get it? Travis Etienne will be used more in the passing game. You're going to need Tank to hit pay dirt. You need to get him in the goal line. You're going to need that. These are not going to reflect what they got right now. 34, 41. That's not going to reflect the current situation now, though. That's the thing about that. That's not going to reflect that. That's not updated. So I'm going JCM with current situation, unless I want to shoot for more upside, because I can definitely see that game script going off for him. Bo Nix and Drake May. That's a good question. I'm going to guess they're neck and neck with each other here in the rankings, with Bo Nix ahead of Drake May. That's my bet. Guarantee. Bo Nix, Drake May. They're close. I believe Bo Nix is going to be a lot safer. I would not be surprised if they road dog the Titans. I would not be surprised. Evan Ingram, Cortland Sutton. You got the young wide receiver stepping up there. RJ Harvey's explosive. You look at, like, the one thing you're worried about is them blowing them out, but to get the blowout status, because you got that 8.5 over under, you got to do something on offense. It can't be the defense scoring all the points. I think they're going to be in favorable positions to score touchdowns. You got Cam Ward, first start against this tough defense. I think Bo's safe. I think he's safe. I think Drake May has a chance to go bombs over Baghdad if this game script breaks. I think Bo Nix is just safer. I think he's at least going to get you a good baseline without dudding out. That's what I believe. Tony Pollard or DeAndre Swift? I am going to go DeAndre Swift because I do not like this matchup. We got a rookie quarterback in here. Pretty much when I put Pollard in, I'm saying, pray to God he crosses the goal line. When I'm looking at DeAndre Swift, And I think his matchup's on Monday, which I know it is. There it is. Tomorrow's Monday, right? 43.5 over under. Tight game script. We do not know for sure, but we do know there's upgrades to the offensive line. Caleb Williams, years 2. He was looking good in preseason. Different coaching staff. Should be more efficient. I just look for him to get some work in the passing game. I look for him to have way more potential for upside. Thank you so much. Thank you guys all for watching too. I'm appreciative of all you guys. Where's your question? Here we go. This might be it. What's up? What's up? Start 3. Keon Coleman, Emeka Ebuka, McMillan. The 3 here. Chuba, Odunze, McMillan. And it's tight with Ebuka. So if you do not like Odunze or McMillan, you can go Ebuka. It's tight with them. Keon Coleman. Here's what I got with Keon Coleman. This is going to be for the whole year. He's going to be like what I said about George Pickens this week. And he's either going to get you 5 or he's going to get you 20. And there's going to be a few games he gets you 20 plus. There's going to be a lot of games where he gets you 5. Very few games where he's in between. And there'll probably be around 3 to 5 games where Keon Coleman splashes big. So he's just going to be that big-time gamble. I look at what you got there. You got the same gamble with safer plays with all of them. And I do like Ebuka. I like Odunze. I like McMillan. I like McMillan. He's locked in for the targets. I think Odunze pushed for a 20% target share last year with a good ADOT. He's going to get that again. If Williams connects with him, he could have a splash game. The Vikings historically will sometimes give up the big play. Chuba's going to be getting those touches. He's going to be just safe. That's what I'd roll with. So Chuba, Odunze, McMillan, that's actually just safer. Ebuka, a little bit more volatile, but I like him a lot. I have him as a start. So if you don't like Odunze, like if you don't like the Bears, then you can go Ebuka. You can definitely do that. If you don't like McMillan, you don't like the Panthers, then you can go Ebuka. I think Keon Coleman's a little bit too much of a risk with what you got there. Full PPR. Yeah, I would still roll with that because that's how because it's just safer. And then Keon Coleman has the potential to be the worst one or the best one of the group, but it's so volatile and everything else is so safe to roll with. I think I'm going to roll Breece Hall over Tony Pollard. I just do not like Tony Pollard's matchup. And I like Breece Hall and the point that there's going to be volume there. There's a chance Braylon Allen breaks out in this game. I do not like either matchup, but I do know and I do feel like Breece Hall is going to get some checkdowns in the passing game, more explosiveness. I am worried about both running backs for the week, period. But if I had to pick between the two, it'd be Breece Hall. Pollard, Mr. Big. And then next one up. IDP question. Any info on both? Let's just come up to here. Let's see what's up. TJ Edwards. Let's see. Doubtful. This is sometimes the best way to get it. TJ Edwards. Let's see here. Monday game. So you're going to have to sweat it another day. They're not going to give you information whether he's going to be in or out till maybe later at night, early tomorrow. Doubtful means that odds are he's probably going to be out. Odds are. Could come in, but odds are probably out. That's what that means to me. And that's usually what it is statistically. Harrison Smith. Let's roll with that. Because, like, this will be... The answer will be on Twitter before it gets to the fantasy sites. Return to practice. And you got a chance with Harrison Smith being out there. And you got a chance. A lot of people wondering about him. I think you got a chance with Harrison Smith. Very likely to be without Harrison Smith. There you go. Seifert, he's been a beat writer forever. He was with the Falcons at one point, I believe. Very likely out. Very likely out. Am I crazy for wanting to start Dante Thornton over Calvin Ridley? It's not crazy because the matchup's bad for a rookie quarterback in his first game. A lot of times, like, you want to trust your gut in these scenarios because, after all, we got all the projections and everything, but still football has to be played, and football is football. Like, I think Ridley's a little safer, but in a matchup like this, with it so being ambiguous, that safety net may not be enough to win it anyway. And if Thornton busts, let's say he only catches a couple balls, that may only be just a few points worse than what Ridley got anyways, because Ridley's going to have to score multiple touchdowns, because it's very hard to see Cam Ward first ever start against this Broncos defense, just slicing and dicing them, where most quarterbacks can't do that. So we're really going to have to see Ridley just cashing in the red zone. But if Dante Thornton, say that game script's rough, all he has to do is bring in one deep ball. That's what's great about these deep threat wide receivers. All they got to do is bring in one deep ball, and you're cashing. But say Ridley's just okay, and Thornton busts, statistically, 5 points, 10, 11, it's really not that bad of a difference. So you're not crazy. You're not crazy. It ain't horrible. If you did it and your gut's calling for it. Now, if your gut's calling for it and you didn't really study or look at things, that's something that you may want to gloss over and look at some numbers and ask more questions to some other analysts or something to see what they got. But it's not crazy. But if you study real hard and your gut's saying something, then overall, go over that. Even if I say the opposite, go over your gut over me, because that's going to be your best bet, especially if you put in the time. That's always the best bet. That usually is, because you put into work, you looked at the stats, you watched the games, you did that, you have a feeling, and then all of a sudden inside, that's your intuition telling you. I fully believe that. I mean, especially if you put in work. Now, if you don't put in the work, that's your intuition probably telling you, hey, you need to stop doing this, you need to put in work or do something else. That's probably it. That's probably the opposite. But yeah, it's not crazy when you really just break it down analytically like that, when you're looking at lineup setting theory. Let's see if there's any more news, guys. I'm doing my best to keep up with the chat. Looks like it slowed down a little bit, which is cool. Again, Xavier Worthy injury. I want to get to that. I think I already talked about that in the beginning. But what I believe here is, like, he's going to be back sooner than later. A couple weeks maybe. I have experience with this injury from when I'm younger. I had to have surgery for it. The fact that they won't need surgery means that they're probably going to harness him and see how he rolls. That's the thing. See how he rolls. Because that could come out again. That's also... Wait, there's more comments at the bottom. There we go. Sorry, guys. Didn't see that. Had to hit a button there. Let's see where I was at. Edwards... Trevor Lawrence and Drake May. I'm trying to catch up where I'm at here on questions. Bill or Chubb? Am I crazy for when... Here we go. Here's the next question. Bill or Chubb or Mason? Chuba, or Nick Chubb? I would go Bill. I'd rank him how you got him. I think Chubb's actually possibly, if you just want to set your lineup and feel safe, Chubb. But I'm rolling Bill, and I'll just take whatever. I'll just eat whatever happens, honestly. Like, I feel like the work's going to be there. Like, it's even more of a good feeling that they try to be very cryptic, and then all of a sudden, like, hour and a half before kickoff, and they made the switches and moves, putting him as RB2. On top of that, just watching some interviews from that coach, how he was just trying to be as even-peeled and lips locked tight. I think I'm going to roll Bill and gamble on that. Should I start Mac Jones in the rain or Jared Goff? I would roll Jared Goff. I had that question before. That might have been you early, but I would roll Jared Goff. Start Tom Brady. I would start Tom Brady. Flex DJ Moore, Emeka Ebuka, or Hendo. That's a good one. I want to go Emeka Ebuka, but I don't want to be biased. That's what I would do. But I like DJ Moore as well. I think they're going to have DJ Moore ahead of Emeka. Emeka, DJ Moore. Guarantee it. I think the thing about this is they're both in good matchups where the game scripts could break. I think DJ Moore's a little bit safer. So DJ Moore may be the smarter play. I'd personally do Emeka Ebuka. But I think DJ Moore's safer, smarter play. But if it was my lineup, I'd probably be doing Emeka Ebuka because I like him this week. Trevor Lawrence or Drake May? I feel a little safer with Trevor Lawrence this week due to the matchup. You listed them first. I'm guessing that you feel the same way. Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, they're right next to each other right here. I don't know if you see that. They're right next to each other. I do not like this game script totally, Raiders and Patriots. I think it could go either way, though. I think it'd be either the ugliest one or it just breaks, where one of the defenses just start giving things up. And next thing you know, it turns into a shootout. Something has to happen before it happens. Where Carolina, that's a good matchup. They should button up a little bit this year and made some changes. But last year, they were historically bad. They took quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs. It should curtail a little bit throughout the year. But still, I think Trevor Lawrence is in a safer matchup. I have HN starting, but should I also start Ollie Gordon as my flex over Ramondre Stevenson? I think by proxy, I might have answered that. I think my head went to Ollie. It's hard to do that. It's hard to make that rollout. Let's see what they got. 46. See what they got Stevenson as. If they even rank, they got him ranked high. The thing about Steve, though, I think he'll get some red zone looks. I think he'll get some work up the gut. I think he could get enough work where it makes your head scratch over Hendo a little bit, because rookies need time to ramp up statistically. I think Ollie Gordon's got the red zone upside. I think you're looking at touchdown coin flips between the two, to be honest. I think those two backs shouldn't be too far off, shouldn't be this far away from each other, though. I think that's a disservice. I think Ollie Gordon here, that's a fire matchup against the Colts. I think he should be up around this range. I think he's too low. There's potential for a lot of points to be scored and for the Dolphins to be around the red zone. If your gut feels Ollie Gordon, you can go Ollie Gordon. If your gut calls for it. If your gut does. Because both of them are going to be in a position where they got to cross the goal line. Touchdowns are very fluky statistically. If your gut calls for it, go for it. Let's see here. We got some IDP. I'd roll some Danielle Hunter. Let's see. Kyle Pitts, Evan Ingram. I think Evan Ingram's safer. I think he's a lot safer. I'd roll Evan Ingram. Just safer with the targets. I think Kyle Pitts, there's more upside in this matchup. And I also want to check in on Darnell Mooney real quick. Where's he at? Let's roll up on Sleeper. I want to check up on Darnell Mooney real quick. Let's see here. Out. That is huge for Kyle Pitts. The worry about Evan Ingram is if the Broncos get up too quick. I think Kyle Pitts could be fun this week as an upside play. Because the big thing about Kyle Pitts is he's sharing so much target share with Drake London pushing a 30% share. With Bijan Robinson getting a good share of the targets. Darnell Mooney was around 20% last year. Ray McLeod could be a sneaky get. Could be. I need to check up on him. No one's asked about him. So, looks like he's good. But Pitts and Penix connection, like it said right there, he could be a good gamble. I think Evan Ingram still, he's the safe play. He fits with what Bo Nix wants to do. He'll live a play another down. I think he'll get peppered with targets. I think Kyle Pitts is more the upside play and that's rare to get at tight end too. And it's a good matchup. I think Ingram's safer. I think Pitts is your upside play. Like if they scored a lot on Friday or Thursday, I'd probably be rolling Pitts, but most of the time I'd be putting in Ingram. I feel a little safer with Josh Downs, but I think personally I would roll Bill. I think the smart answer would be Josh Downs. I think if a smart person was on this microphone, they'd say Josh Downs. But personally, I would do Bill. I'd shoot for the upside, and I would see this through. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this matchup. I think there's going to be moments where it's back and forth. I like the Colts matchup as well. I think Downs could have a big game, but there's also a lot of competition at running back. You got multiple wide receivers there that could hit. They're 4 deep. And then on top of that, you got Tyler Warren there. You got a new quarterback. Where Bill, running back touches, he's been looking good all offseason long. They had him listed as RB4 on the depth chart. They tried to be sneaky. They flipped it right before the opener. I think I'm going to roll Bill. PPR, start 1, Ridley, Golden, Olave. Golden's my sneaky upside play of the week here. I like Ridley as a safe play. I think the target's going to be there. I don't like Spencer. You know what? I can't say I don't like Spencer Rattler. I just recognize he's very volatile. Volatile in the sense that he could look like the worst quarterback ever created or the next Patrick Mahomes. And usually the worst quarterback ever created version of him, we see more. So I'm just going to shoot my shot on Golden there. Bill over Brees. I feel safer with Brees. I feel safer for Brees, but I think Bill could have more upside if you want to gamble, but I feel safer with Brees. Half PPR. I'd go Dunze and Myers. And Dunze more due to deeper targets downfield. 20+% target share. Njoku, less likely to bottom out and get you less than 10 points. Because there is a chance Caleb Williams F's it up. Odunze more because he is technically kind of safe because he'll get a good rack of targets. They're deep. I'd go Odunze. And then I just don't trust that Broncos matchup for the Titans. That one is a gut decision because of the injury at play. Then on top of that, touches we don't know. Bill is a start for me in most cases. This is one where I'm probably, considering the information and news we've seen, I'd probably stomach it out with McCaffrey and just pray to the gods that he's out there and everything they said's true. Because it busted out by Ian Rappaport yesterday. Let's see here. By Rap Sheet. Going off this. Xavier Hutchinson expected to get starter snaps today. We'll see about that. Nick Chubb will be their bell cow. Christian McCaffrey expected to play. Plan for Jaguars 2A stud wide receiver. Let's see. Mooney's out. Mostert healthy scratch. That's big news. Mostert out. Bucks without Godwin. We knew that. I'm looking for the news from yesterday. Just look for the picture of McCaffrey. This is it. Christian McCaffrey is questionable with a calf injury, but signs are pointing that he will play. They just said he'll play. They did not bring up any running backs from the practice squad. They did not bring up anybody to fill that gap or void. That is a good sign. He also already said it. That being said, I'm going to just trust that process and roll McCaffrey. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I got rankings videos. Those come out Wednesday. Waiver wire. Sunday night, I'll do waiver wire, but it's really going through the box scores. And from what I saw in Red Zone, and just getting it up real quick. And then I refine it a little bit on Monday. Tuesday, deep running back and wide receiver. Each one of them gets a video. And then I do really deep on Wednesday. And a lot of people's waivers already ran on Wednesday, but a lot of people watch those videos, I think, for confirmation bias to see whether or not I like what they did. And then on top of that, a lot of people watch it because their waivers run a day later. So be on the lookout for that. And then the must-start series, that goes through all the lineups. Woody Marks or Dameon Pierce? Season Woody Marks. I think Dameon Pierce, it's a coin flip because we don't know how they're going to do the touches. I would not be surprised if they allow him to get touches early on in the season, feel it out, and then Woody Marks gets a few carries here and there, and they're like, oh, this guy's got a little bit more pop. But Woody Marks has been looking better overall in the offseason. Dameon Pierce can hold it down strong for a little bit. I think they'll start off Pierce, mixing in the workload. I think it could be messy. Overall, season-wise, I want Woody Marks. James Conner or Chuba? James Conner, super safe for me. I like both running backs. I think they'll get you the baseline. James Conner, because of Spencer Rattler. I think Spencer Rattler, I'm going against that. Spencer Rattler is either going to give you, like, really good production and look really good or look like the worst quarterback out there. And since his time at Oklahoma, about 65-70% of the time, it's the worst quarterback out there. I'm going James Conner. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you. I really love everything you guys say and everything. Drake May or Jared Goff? I think Goff's safer with the matchup. I actually like that Packers-Lions matchup a lot. I'm leaning in on that. I think there will be players that bust, obviously, from that matchup. But if I'm splitting hairs with two players, the matchup is typically what's going to let's see here. Where's the odds at? Is what's going to change it for me. It's not what I want. Where's my odds? There we go. Because when I look at this Packers game, 47.5 over under. I think this game's going to be fire. I just think it is. Right there. 1.5 spread. Vegas thinks it's going to be high scoring and tight. That means fantasy points. That means if they're remotely close, you're getting scoring on both sides of the ball. I'm going with that. Vegas says the opposite, really, for Drake May. 44.5 over under with a tight one. Could be a slower game. Raiders could be trying to slow it down with Genty. You got Geno Smith there. Bowers. It could break. You need them to push them a little bit. And you need Drake May to be on all cylinders. I think May can get you a little rushing production. Check it down a little bit. To Hendo, we can get some splash plays. I think this is a safer play. I think that's the safer game to look at when I'm thinking about that. That might be it. Are you guys good on the questions? Or is that all in the questions there, guys? If you guys got more, fire them away. If you want to know anything else, football-wise or whatever, I'm still trying to catch up on college football games. It's what I'll probably be doing while watching the games. I watched the Michigan game yesterday. And, yeah, I like Mateer. There's something in that Washington State water because him and Kim Ward came out, and they both looked good at Washington State. I wasn't really surprised Mateer did what he did, and he's all hyped up the way he is. I just wasn't surprised from that. He was looking good at camp. He was looking good at practice throughout the offseason. Star 2, Waddle, Moore, Warren. Is that DJ Moore? DJ Moore, Waddle, Moore, Warren. DJ Moore would be 1, then Waddle, then Warren for me. That would be it. If it's a different Moore, once you get to answering questions and names and stuff, kind of get together. Yeah, DJ Moore. Yep, DJ Moore, Waddle, then Warren. That would be my... And another thing, Warren, first game, tight end position could be very volatile. He could be a tight end 1 this week and only score 9 fantasy points. But all in all, Moore a little bit safer than Waddle. I like Waddle's matchup the best, but I think Moore's a little bit safer with the opportunities, upside, and targets. It's all good. Oh, Jaylen Warren, running back. Thinking about that, I'd still go Moore. I think if you're looking, the safest play here, if you're looking for just a 10 spot in lineup strategy, would be Warren. But odds are you're pretty close to being almost confident with a 10 spot from all three. The safest play to get to a 15 would be Moore. Upside to go 20 plus Waddle, but you still have that with Moore. Warren, you would need multiple touchdowns. The game script from Vegas is not calling for it to be high scoring. It's calling for it to be low scoring. And something really needs to break for that to happen. It's a 37.5 over under, which is very aggressive by Vegas. And we know Steelers are not going to run a lot of plays on offense. Neither are the Jets. Jets tough defense. Their over-under has been dropping. It was 38.5. So the more they dig into this game, the more they hate it. I'm going DJ Moore. Hey, thank you for the subscription. Thank you so much. One flex spot PPR. Trade Kyren Williams plus Juwan Jennings for Drake. Roster. Genty, Pollard, Jaylen Warren, Ollie. Is this super flex? Did I read super? Is this Drake May? The names are all over my head right now. Drake London. Drake London is fine. Drake May, I would keep. I would not do their trade if it's Drake May. Drake London is fine for the season, if you're looking at that. Genty, Pollard, Warren. Yeah, Drake London would be fine, considering he could break out 20+% target share. ADP-wise, since we do not have new information, like ahead of Kyren Williams, Juwan Jennings last year. Let's pull that up. Let's see if the table works. Like a lot of analysts like Jennings because they looked at the bare rates. Like they looked at the points per game, which was solid. They looked at the target share. But the thing is, when he was racking up the targets, look at what he did in fantasy. He's had a lot of down games. He had that splash game, 2 other wide receiver 1 weeks, and then that wide receiver 2 week. Now you got Pearsall there. Brandon Ayuk's going to be a long bit. Kittle. And then you also got McCaffrey back. I think he's going to be volatile like this. I think he's going to have some big games. But it's going to be hard to start him week to week. Like you're going to throw him in there and close your eyes type of deal. Like I think it'll be all right if you look at him in that facet. But to use him as a bridge from Kyren Williams to Drake, I think that's fine. You got Genty, Pollard, Warren, Ollie, Malik. The thing, too, though, once you ship him off, you have to be aggressive with the waiver wire. The backfill, that RB2 spot. But I think it's fine. I'd like to have my running back because of what you got here. Malik, Sutton, Golden. So you'd be very strong at wide receiver. You're not going to get that strong at wide receiver off the waiver wire unless you play your matchups correctly. You can get that strong at running back because we're going to get more Jacory Croskey-Merritts this year. This was a very deep running back class. So I'm fine with it. I like keeping my running back, but I think I'm fine with it. Start 2. Sticky Ricky, Pollard, Shakir. This is how I'm looking at it. If I want the the optimum upside out of this, I'm going Sticky Ricky Shakir. If I want to play it safe, and you'll get like an upside plus safe option, I think I'd go Sticky Ricky Pollard. If it was me, I'd go Sticky Ricky Pollard. I got upside play, kind of safer play. Unless I went up against somebody who started Javonte Williams and Quentin Johnston or Keenan Allen or something, they hit big. And then I would go Sticky Ricky Shakir in that situation. JCM, most cases, is a start for me. Most cases. I think today, until we get more information about the touches, I would go Sutton. Yeah, thank you for the question, man. Thank you for the subscription as well. I'd go JCM. Debo's safer if you're scared about it. If your gut's saying don't do that, then cool. I think he's safe. I think he could be a surprise option. For me, I'm going JCM. I think I'm locked in with that. Start 3, Judy, Sutton, Pollard, Swift, Myers. Judy, Sutton, Pollard, Swift, Myers. Judy, Sutton, Swift, Judy. Sutton, Swift, Judy. If you want to be safe, Sutton, Pollard, Swift. If you want to be safe. That's probably the smart answer, and you're probably not going to zero out. But I think Judy's going to have some upside in this matchup. I think Flacco's going to push it downfield a little bit. He can be very aggressive. That's why he's very good in the pocket, and he can be very aggressive. He will go in games where he throws lots of picks to do that, and he'll also, like we saw in 2023, do what he did due to him being very ballsy. Need 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Sutton, Nico, Jerry Jeudy, Marv, Tony Pollard, Dobbins. I'd go Sutton, Nico, Marv. That's what I'd roll. And if I don't like Marv, I'd go Jeudy next. If I am worried about the wide receivers and I just want to make sure that play gets to baseline 10, Pollard. Next, Golden. Juwan Jennings versus Matthew Golden. That's how I interpret that. I would go Matthew Golden. I'm high on Matthew Golden this week. That's who I would roll with. I think he's got a lot of upside. He's been looking good in training camp. Could emerge by the end of the season as team's wide receiver 1. Okay. That makes sense if you want to do that. That makes sense. Next up, T-Mac or Ebuka, flex spot. T-Mac's safer. I think there's a chance that he gets more targets. I think when we saw him, we did a live stream here, Panthers, Browns. They would just target him even when he's not even open. They would just force it to him. Doesn't matter which quarterback was out there. They're forcing it to T-Mac. I think he's going to be force-fed targets. I think Ebuka is a start for me in a lot of cases. Like, I like Ebuka. Like, he is a start for me. I think I'd go T-Mac, though, due to that. Charbs or Zach Ertz flex with JD as my quarterback. Tight ends are fluky. I look for him to get 5-ish targets in this matchup. He could get more or less, but I look for him to be around that 5 range. I think you're hoping he hits that red zone. Hoping he does that. Charbs as in Charbonnet. We got to hope he gets enough touches because Kenneth Walker's out there. Usually when Kenneth Walker's out there, that's a down game. I think if you want to do Ertz as that stack, it's cool. I think I would probably hit that button on Charbs, but if you want to do that, I think it's cool. I think it'd be all right. Where are we at here? We just got a bunch of questions real quick. Okay, next one. Hunter or Warren? I'd go Travis Hunter. I just think there's more upside with that in his matchup against the Panthers. I don't like Warren's matchup with the Jets. I think it's going to be a slower game script. Vegas is saying that right here. By the day, the over-under keeps lowering, which is the implied point total. They want to be as close to the exact total as possible so people bet over or under on it. 37.5 points projected to be scored in this game by Vegas. That's the lowest on the slate. We know play rate, Pittsburgh is going to be bottom third in the league. Aaron Rodgers, most time, no matter what he has, is bottom third in the league. He's top half in the league only 4 times on his career, per playerprofiler.com. You're looking at the Jets here. They've shown their hand. They want to run the football. They're going to run a lot of clock. I think Travis Hunter, and I would gamble on that. Warren's actually safer if you want to shoot for a 10 to 12 spot. Like, less likely to bust a 0. That's another lineup strategy you want to look at because it is Hunter's first game. I think with how I play the game, I would go Hunter. But if you want to go less risky, or if you're gangbusters the rest of your lineup, then I'd go Warren. But if I need to shoot for the most points and not get the ball in the fairway, I'd go Hunter. Should I drop Chris Rodriguez now that he's out, or wait to see how If it's a 12-man league, 16 or less rounds, I think Chris Rodriguez is cool to drop. There's going to be somebody else after this week you're going to want to pick up anyways. And this, for wide receivers, you want to be aggressive the first couple weeks of the season. After that, it's going to flatline out, and then you're just playing matchups with the wide receivers. Your wide receivers that could emerge to being the next big thing, they're going to rear their head early in the start of the season. You want to be aggressive with that. On top of that, we have a lot of Jacory Croskey-Merritts. We have a lot of them just sitting, waiting for their turn. That's the thing about this. Like, the thing about Jacory Croskey-Merritt at that time, while a lot of people were so excited, he's a free spin out of running back getting a lot of touches potentially. That was looking good on the field. Like, off the waiver wire, 16th round, last round, a lot of people picking him up. That's why a lot of people are very excited about that. You're going to catch some more off the waiver wire. There's going to be more running backs to look at. You're going to have that spot fluid. I would use that as my fluid spot for whatever happens. Last 2 years, we were down on injuries at all positions. I know because, like, I do content on it. So what drives the content is when a player goes down, somebody goes up. Everybody's looking at the player that's coming up as, should I pick him up or not? And then I give them the answer. I did not have that too often. I had to talk about Blake Corum, Trey Benson almost every day, and it got very sickening. And we have a lot of veteran running backs that went unscathed last year. We have a lot of rookie running backs waiting for their turn. I would use that spot. I would have a spot open to be fluid with all your rosters. That's to all you guys. I would have one last spot. I'd be very fluid with that last roster spot, and I'd be just taking hits at the pinata all year long. All year long. Commanders defense, Cardinals defense. I'm betting against Spencer Rattler. I think Malik Neighbors could make this game high scoring. Russell Wilson giving targets downfield. He pushes it downfield. Yeah, I'm betting against Spencer Rattler. Start 2 PPR, Ridley, Sutton, Pearsall. Sutton and Pearsall, that's what I would roll with there. I think both of them got upside and some stability. Sutton or Judy, I'd roll Sutton. On that one. I think he'll still get deep targets. I think he's good for 5+. I think on the season he'll average 10 or more, getting deep air yards. I think Judy's got a good matchup today. Also think it could be a slow game script, but I think Judy's good for the day. I think he's actually going to perform well, but I just like Sutton a lot. Jerome Ford or Travis Hunter flex. I think Jerome Ford's going to be somewhat safe if you're needing to hit that 10 to 12 range. I think Travis Hunter has more upside to really surpass that. Ford will need to hit the goal line a few times, but I think when you look at Ford, he's guaranteed the touches and workload in this matchup. I think it could be a slower game script, but it could also get pushed. I think Ford's the safe play, the smart play. I think the gamble play would be Travis Hunter. I like Travis Hunter. I think he's going to be good in this matchup. Personally, in my lineups, I'd be starting Travis Hunter, but if I want to play it safe, it sounds like I'm wishy-washy, but I'm also just giving you analysis and truth and honesty and just playing the games out in my head. The safe play to get you on the fairway would be Jerome Ford to get the 10 spot, 11 spot, 12 spot. But I think Travis Hunter's got a great matchup here against the Panthers. I think he is the best QB, wide receiver 2 Trevor Lawrence has ever had. Dobbins or Kupp. I would not be surprised if Kupp scores more than what people anticipate. I would not be surprised. That's the thing about this. I think Dobbins is a little safer. I think with these two players, I don't really care that much about safety. I think I'd be looking at the upside due to RJ Harvey and due to competition of targets. I think the upside leans for Kupp here. I think Dobbins needs to hit the end zone or he's not going to really score much for you, where Kupp could take in a lot of those short targets in this matchup, especially in PPR. Jalen Warren or Gordon, half PPR. I think both these players you need to hit the end zone. It's a rough matchup for Warren. It's going to be a slow-paced game. Gordon's in a fast-paced game here where there's a lot of scoring. I think this is a touchdown coin flip. Who scores the touchdown? And also, HN could be stealing that work, but it could be one of the other running backs. It could be even Kenneth Gainwell because it's Arthur Smith. Warren's going to be out there, though, most of the reps. That was just bringing that out there because it is Arthur Smith. Half PPR. Warren's safer. I think you got more upside with Gordon, so I'd shoot for the upside. 20 minutes to kickoff, guys. Yeah, we're almost there. I'm trying to get these through. I got a few more. Half PPR pick. Hendo, Aaron Jones, Travis Hunter. The safe play is Aaron Jones, Travis Hunter. I think the upside play, I think Aaron Jones might surprise us and look like Aaron Jones. Like, he was down in ADP and in drafts, but I think he's solid. He's solid. I think people, like, everybody's waiting for the fall off. That usually takes either an injury or a little bit more time than what people realize, but he's very safe. Aaron Jones is very safe. Like against Chicago, 18.6. Different Chicago team, though. But 21.9, 18.6, sharing the backfield. But he's good in the passing game. I think Aaron Jones is like a lock here. Like, there's nothing here outside of the changes on the additions to the depth chart. Like, he's healthy, he's good to go. Like, let's see if there's any news that I forgot about. I think he's safe. And now you're looking at Hendo, Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter just has a better matchup. So, that's what I'd rock with. Need 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Cortland Sutton, Nico, Jerry Jeudy, Marvin Harrison, Tony Pollard. 2 wide receivers lock in to read this. Nico for sure. The safe route is Nico and Sutton for the 2 wide receivers. That's the safe route. Then you got Pollard in a bad matchup. Jeudy and Marv. The safe lineup here would be Sutton, Collins, Harrison. That's what a lot of people would do. I think the upside lineup here would be Sutton, Collins, and Jeudy. Like, if you're trying to max point this out, but risk bottoming out on that flex, which is a risk for both players due to Kyler Murray, be Jeudy. Marv is the safest route. Marv's safer. Target share and everything. I think max play this out. Sutton, Nico, Jeudy. I think that's what I'd roll. Now that I think through that. Where am I at here? Next one. Half PPR, tight end premium. Already starting Hendo. Pick 1. Chigakonku, Josh Palmer, Stephon Diggs. Toss up between Palmer and Diggs. Palmer's a wild card. There's a lot of good buzz from him from training camp with the Bills. They're the only game. It's the only matchup here with a 50 over under. Where's that at? It's the only matchup. Where's the Bills game at? The only game with a 50 over under. So if you want to shoot for that, because they're going to have to move the football, right there. Only game out of all these with a 50 over under. That doesn't mean it won't go under 50. And it does not mean they won't score 55. It just means that Vegas is trying to be in the middle so people will bet more or less. Because if they're too far high, then people are going to all bet under. If they're too far over or too far low, everyone's going to bet over. So they're trying to be in the middle of that. So they're trying to be right there. So, and this is the highest amount of points on the implied point total for the week from Vegas, 50.5 here. That's what we're looking at. I think if you're wanting to go against that, Joshua Palmer, we do not know the flow of targets for this team. A lot of people calling for a Keon Coleman breakout. A lot of people are calling for Joshua Palmer to make a splash. I think Stephon Diggs is the safest of the three. I think Diggs is going to get the targets, get the opportunity. They could be short targets. If he hits that red zone, he's going to be fine. I think upside-wise, Josh Palmer. I think if it was me, I'd go Stephon Diggs. But if I'm shooting for upside, if I'm feeling iffy about having Hendo Diggs, then I think Josh Palmer would be fine. But for me, I'd go Diggs, personally. Where was I at? Did I get hit with a bunch of questions all of a sudden? No. There we go. Here we are. I need 2 flex spots to be filled in. I got Jordan Mason, Chris Olave, Dante Thornton, DeMar Douglas, Jaden Higgins, Isaac Tesla. I think I'd go Chris Olave and Thornton. Thornton be your upside play. I think Chris Olave will get targets. If you're feeling not going 2 wide receivers, Jordan Mason might be fine, but Aaron Jones is going to get work there, so he's also risky. I think Thornton is good to throw in there as a what-the-heck play, especially for the deep shots downfield. I think Douglas is going to have too much competition with Stephon Diggs. He's got to find the end zone. I like Higgins. I want to watch him this week, though, see what the workload looks like, especially with Hutchinson out there. They're saying that he's going to be out there getting starter reps. And now you're looking at Tesla, wide receiver 3 and a great game script. Thornton's probably going to run more routes, get more opportunity. He's also a deep ball candidate. I think upside, stability play, I would roll Chris Olave, Thornton. If you want to be a little safer, Olave, Jordan Mason. Drop Ollie for JS Croskey-Merritt. I would like to have them both if possible. It's okay to make that move if you can't, if your benches are shallow. If you have a wide receiver like a Pop Douglas or something like that, then I'd rather do that. But if that's literally the last lottery ticket, then I would do that in your league. I think that's fine for this moment. They're both good running backs. I would love to have them both if I could swing it. That's the thing about that. I like them both. Empire Strikes Brass. So close. Happy PPR. Henderson or Wilson? Let's look at the rankings here real quick. You said F Wilson. Is it Garrett Wilson? G and F is close on the keyboard. So Garrett Wilson's going to be safe, but I hate his matchup. I feel like this could be a game where he has to score a touchdown. Trevion Henderson, there's some risks. It's his first game. Matchup is up in the air. Vegas is saying that too, but it's a little bit lower on the scoring as we see right here with a 44.5 over-under. It is so close. I think we shoot for that home run and go Hendo. Like, Wilson has to score a touchdown, maybe even 2, for it to be enough to get you over the top. Now, if you just need to hit it on the fairway, like the rest of your lineup, you feel pristine at, perfect, you're good to go, Wilson. I think most lineups, Hendo. And most time I would go Hendo. I would go CMC. I'd roll that dice. I'd go Hunter over Jennings. I think that's a great matchup for Hunter. I think I'd roll with that. Yep, G. Wilson. I guessed it because I saw the F and a G on the keyboard, and I was like, that's probably it. I looked through all the Wilsons. I was like, my gut's saying that G. Wilson would be the close one. So, yeah, Hendo, most cases, unless you're feeling pristine in your lineup and you just want to get it on the fairway, I don't really like Wilson's matchup. Full PPR, Hendo, Sutton, Ebuka. Sutton and Ebuka is probably your safer options right now. I think if you're shooting for more, if you want the ultimate upside, there is Ebuka, Henderson, but I think Sutton's got upside as well due to the deep ball. I think he's safe, even with this being a slower matchup. 5+ targets, pretty easy. I think if you're trying to guess out the air yards, deep ball attempts, I think he'll probably push 80 air yards in this game with potential to get to 100. So I like Sutton. I think Sutton and Ebuka is probably what I would do. It's safe and there's upside there. Diggs or Eckler? Hold up. We got a super chat in here. Hold up. I'll answer this one first. Diggs or Eckler? I'd roll Diggs. I feel a little safer here. So we got a super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm going to need to scroll down and make sure there's not more. I'm back, guys. Hunter or for rest of season. Hunter or Rashee Rice rest of season. I accidentally, I was scrolling on my keypad, and I went like this, and it clicked me back. Hopefully you guys can see me. It says that you guys can. Rest of season, Hunter or Rice. I have Rice on my bench. And, ooh, that's a tough one, because Rice will be back. When Rice is back, he's going to outscore Hunter. Rice will outscore Hunter, especially with what we're seeing. Rest of season, I think during this gap, of course, we're going to like Travis Hunter. I think when we're looking at Rice, he's going to be a league-winning player. I would do whatever I can to keep a hold of Rashee Rice during this time. This week's about done. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We only got so much longer. He's going to be a league-winning player. He's going to get the targets, even when everybody's out there healthy, running routes. He's going to be a league-winning player. That's for sure. That's for sure. I would go Rice. Thank you, though. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hopefully you guys can still see this. It kind of exited me out. Do I start Christian McCaffrey? I'm going to double check. It still says I'm live. I'm double checking real quick. It still says I'm good. Let's see here. View channel. Looks like I'm good. Do I start Christian McCaffrey at 4? I would go McCaffrey, CMC, J-Mo, G. Wilson, Ricky P. I rank them J-Mo, Ricky P, then G. Wilson this week. Full season, probably the same. Flex 2, half PPR, Jacoby, Downs, JCM, Pop Douglas. Flex 2, JCM. And then a toss-up between Jacoby and Downs. I'd go Downs. Downs and JCM. Pop Douglas, I'm probably staying away from. Up big in projection, so prefer play it safe floor. Okay, that sounds good. Ford, Pollard, Jaden Higgins. Start 2 PPR. The safe play is Ford and Pollard. That's just a safe. You'll get on the fairway at least. If you're looking for upside, like you're not feeling one of the running backs, I'd take out Pollard and put in Higgins. I have Pollard ahead of Ford. I think Pollard's more likely to hit the fairway than Ford. But the Ford matchup, I think it's fine. I think I'd do that. But ultimately, if I was doing this, I'd go Ford and Pollard. Dynasty 1 QB. PPR. Loveland, Kyle Williams, Nolan. If this is for lineup, if this is 1 QB, okay. I'm thinking this one through. Colson Loveland, because I read Loveland as Love, actually, and that tripped me up. I would go Loveland, Noel, A.O. Manor, Kyle Williams. with A.O. Manor and Kyle Williams being up in the air. A.O. Manor, I'm very high on him. I'm very high on him for the long term. I'm guessing this is a long-term one. If you're looking for flex this week, it'd be A.O. versus Kyle Williams. Upside, I'd go A.O. because it's a tough matchup. He could get more targets than realized. I'm guessing this is a long-term question. Loveland for sure, long-term upside, tight end, first-round draft pick. Noel, wide receiver from Texans would be next. I like Kyle Williams. I like A.O. Manor better. He murked Travis Hunter. He's been killing it in camp. He's a wide receiver 2-ish now there. Sorry, Goff or Love? That's a great question. That's a great question here. So let's see. Let's see if I can get my stuff back up. Image file, video file, share screen, window, bam. We're back. We're back. So Goff or Love? I want to see what they got. Goff or Love? What did my gut say? It went Goff. Let's see. I bet they got Love ahead of Goff. Love? If they got Goff, you go in on it. They don't. They got Love ahead of Goff. I got Goff ahead of Love. Like, yeah, I'm going Goff. I'm going Goff. I feel a little safer. I think it's up in the air between the two. They're in the same matchup. Both of them got to sling the rock. I just feel a little bit better with Goff with his weapons there. I think that's what I'm going to roll with. Oh, you almost... Well, at least you got him. And at least he's back healthy on the field. He ran a lot of routes and got some opportunity. He could be volatile up and down throughout the year. That could be a thing with him. But the thing is, like, first-round wide receiver, and from his rookie year to his second year, he got a little better. And this year, it looks like he's starting to get a little bit better as well. We saw that in training camp as well. So that's something to look at. Okay, I got 2 spots. Okay, this might have been a question from earlier, then it backed out on me. Thielen. Okay, let's go back. Edits. Booty bag edits. Okay, right there. Loveland, Kyle, Pitts, Knowles. Okay, that was the dynasty question. Oh, it's for lineup. Okay, it's for that. Lineup-wise, from what I'm seeing from earlier, going back to what you said, lineup-wise, Loveland and Kmet was in and out during preseason. That's a gamble. If I'm shooting for the safest play, which there is none, A.O. Manor, pure upside, maybe Kyle Williams. Maybe he's that surprise rookie, twitched up. Loveland, I want to see if he's even really out there that much, or if they're going to play it safe with him. Is a tight end. Tight ends, they ramp up very slow. We're almost to 1 o'clock. I'm going to hyperspeed this for you guys. Travis Hunter, Thielen, Pierce, all at flex. I'll just rank them. Hunter, Pearsall, Thielen. That's how I would roll with that. Sutton, DJ Moore in standard scoring. Sutton's the safest. I have it how you got it ranked. If you want upside, the gamble, maybe shoot for the most, is Ebuka. But I would rank it how you got it. Sutton, DJ Moore, Ebuka. Pearsall. That's probably from that one. We got it. Next is Giants or Lions defense. I think both of them are potentially in a shootout. I think I'd roll with the Lions defense. I'm cooked first 3 weeks right now, especially I didn't trust my guts starting QJ. It's all good. It's all good. If it's dynasty like from the other question, I mean, worse is worse. It's also, you got a lot of weeks. We got a lot of weeks. I think Thielen's in a better matchup. I think there could be more points scored than that. I think I'd go Thielen over AO. I'd want to see that through a little bit more and see how the targets are being distributed. It's a rougher matchup for the Broncos. That could also lend to opportunities for them as they have to go to their second and third reads in that game. So really, it'd be an up-in-the-air gamble. Thielen last time with the Vikings was top 5 in red zone targets. And we got Jordan Addison out, so he should be on the field running a lot of... I'm sorry. All right, sounds good. Thank you for watching, buddy. All right, next one. Thielen, Tillman, Hunter, Pearsall. All at flex. Pearsall, number 1. Tillman 2. No, Pearsall, Hunter, and then Tillman and Thielen. That's how I would roll that. I like Pearsall this week. Start 2, Aaron Jones, Rome Odunze, Josh. So Aaron Jones and Rome. That's what I would go with. All right, the games are starting. I want to thank you guys for the questions and everything. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're going to be dropping Waiver Wire tonight, more Waiver Wire tomorrow, more Waiver Wire the next day, and more Waiver Wire the next day after that to help you with your picks going deeper by the day. Just deeper by the day. Tonight will be a shotgun Waiver Wire as we're just going through the box scores, what we saw in Red Zone, and just making the best calls as possible with that. And then we'll dig deeper as injuries roll out, the more advanced metric reports roll out. But good luck. Have fun watching games. I'll catch you guys later.